Yo, what's up, guys? It's me. I'm Eugene Smilez. I'm back. Thank you for everybody that checked out my first episode. But if you looked at the title of this episode, we about to really get into something. But I'm not here by myself today. I have a special guest. Let him introduce himself. Who are you?
Dakota.
Miss Dakota Fanning is in the building. Send in all your questions for her. Oh, but yes, me and my dear friend here have actually talked about this subject a lot. And I felt like since I was doing the podcast, she's one of my favorite artists. I had to talk about her and give her her flowers and talk about the whole situation. So I think it was last week when Usher and Swiss Beats were on live, and they were talking about versus battles they wanted to see, and Swiss Beats asked Usher. He said, "Ooh, Lil Kim and Nicki." Usher gave him that nasty face, like, "Ooh," and then Usher said, "Nah, cause Nicki is a product of Little Kim," and Twitter blew up. Boom! Blew up.
Word. It's a trigger.
What's the trigger? The product?
Yes, the word product. That made people feel like was saying more than what he actually was saying.
I mean, do you think Nikki would have a problem with that word product? Because her body is a product of a doctor.
No,
and
Little Kim is a
flat
product of salt and
tire.
pepper.
Like,
What's the problem? Like, it's not that deep. But
well,
people, there's already a underlying beef between the two ladies and the fan bases. So, you know what I'm saying? I just think any time anybody brings the two of them up, it's gonna be
psycho, crazy, fighting, yelling,
yeah,
screaming.
it's gonna be a big thing.
So of course, the Barbs got extremely upset. It takes really nothing to get them upset. But then, on the VH1 Soul, I think it's a streaming network or something, they have a show with Vivica Fox and Claudia Jordan, and Lisa Ray. So the issue came up again. What Usher said, Lisa Ray was like, Nicki just needs to do like Beyonce saying, "Bow down, bitch." Yikes.
That was
Very aggressive.
very harsh.
People were saying, and all of them did agree that, Little Kim came first, and Little Kim, made it easier for them to be very provocative and do all the stuff they're doing, which I think everybody in my age group agrees. Anybody that was around when Little Kim was in her prime has to agree with that. You know what I'm saying?
And I think that's another part of the argument. It's a age difference. You know what I'm saying? Like people who grew up with Little Kim, we have a different affinity for her. You know what I'm saying? Than people who just happen to listen to their music or whose mom or dad played her when they were growing up. You know what I'm saying? Like we grew up on her.
And let me tell y'all something. If you did not have to go to Best Buy, FYE, Circuit City, Kmart, you didn't really go to Walmart because they had the clean versions of all the stuff.
Right. And who wants that?
Right. If you didn't have to go there to buy an album on the release day, if you had to preview an album if you did not have to preview an album by being in the store and listening to it at the little listen machines, like if you don't know what Napster is, you cannot comment on on Little Kim's career. You can only comment on Nicki Minaj's career. You weren't there. You weren't there when Kim was. I keep saying Nicki because she copies her so much. You you weren't there when Kim was in her prime, so you don't know anything about her career.
And you didn't live through it.
You
know
know
what I'm saying? Like it's one thing to go back and look at pictures, and it's like, oh, okay, that's whatever. But to live through somebody's evolution, you can't explain that. So these younger kids, they're never going to experience that. For them, Nicki is that. You know what I'm saying? So they're going to ride for her.
But I think what's so strange is that I remember growing up and when Kim and Foxy was out and Missy was out, they were showing love to Salt and Pepper. They were showing love to Queen Latifah.
Because that's what it was about.
And MC Lyte. That, you know, it was never any beef between generations.
Right.
And yes, there has been beef with artists, but they're mostly artists that are out at the same time. Kim had her beefs, but Kim wasn't beefing again, like I said, with MC Lyte. She was beefing with one of her peers, Foxy Brown, at the time, because some personal stuff went on. So let's just take it back, all the way back to Junior Mafia. They were a product of Biggie Smalls. If that word is okay. Yeah. See? You see what I'm saying? Just
Junior Mafia is a product, and every member of Junior Mafia is a product of Biggie Smalls. Now,
exactly.
Is that saying anything derogatory about those members? No.
So, you know, of course, Kim was the only female in the crew, and she kicked shit. So,
like a nigga do.
She stood out. She definitely stood out. In Get Money, I Need You Tonight, and all her verses. She stood out in Junior Mafia. So what was your experience when you like first discovered Little Kim? When was it? What was the song that made you a fan? Like,
honestly, I can't even remember what song it was. It might have been. See, I don't know. I was gonna say No Time, but I don't know if that's accurate. I just know that soon as I discovered her, whenever that was, I immediately was drawn to her for whatever reason. I couldn't explain it, but she just did something for me. You know what I'm saying? So I gravitated towards her and followed her, you know,
all the way through.
Right.
So I did like her first album and everything, but I was visiting family in Virginia for a summer, and my cousin had Little Kim's new album, Notorious K.I.M., the second one. And I was in her room, and I put the album in, and I was listening to, and then I heard this doom, 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 and I was like,
what made you put it in though? Had you heard of her before?
I had already knew who she was, but I wasn't like the Little Kim fan yet. Like, so when I put, and if you can't recognize that beat, I probably did it all wrong, but it's her song called Suck My Dick. It's my favorite Little Kim song. Little Kim, I just wish that it was a single. I wish it had a video, but you know, back then, super explicit stuff didn't have videos. It was taboo.
Yeah, that's not radio.
Not at all. I don't even know. If you haven't heard Little Kim Suck My Dick, you gotta listen to it. It's on her second album, and it's my favorite song. But that just brings me to the point where when Little Kim first came out, and she had the bikini, the promo pic came out with the bikini in the squat, that became famous. She got a lot of great responses from men and women, and she got horrible responses from men and women. And it was so weird because I remember MTV did a segment. I'm going to find it and probably link it on my YouTube. They did a segment where they were asking people walking by about this poster or what they thought of her.
Of the squat?
Yes.
Okay.
On the streets. And it was a lot of black women that was like, oh yeah, we love it. She's sexy. Black women can do it too, blah, blah, blah. And then it was some that were like, oh, she's a whore. And she would do anything, blah, blah, blah. It was like she was taking all of that.
Right.
So when you first seen that, what were the reactions you were hearing? I know we were young.
The reactions I heard were more positive. It was more so from the women who felt like she felt and probably wanted to say the things that she said and express themselves the way that she did it, but were probably too afraid because a woman's not supposed to feel like that.
Not supposed to feel like that.
You know what I'm saying? Because
like
that's not ladylike. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to keep that stuff private. And Little Kim was so, out with it that, that probably turned a lot of people off, but secretly, I'm sure they was listening to her shit.
Exactly. So she got a lot of pushback for her lyrics, for her look. And she didn't have huge breasts or nothing. She was pretty much flat-chested almost, a little bit. So she didn't have a whole lot of hanging out, but it was just that she was doing all that. So I don't remember the lady's name that had the talk show, the black lady.
I think Rolanda,
Maybe it's like Rolanda.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. But Little Kim went on that show to defend her lyrics.
Yes.
And there was a little girl in the crowd that loved Little Kim, and they were like,
12 years old.
You know, she was 12. If you know who that lady is, tag her, because I want to talk to her. I want to see where she's at right now. But, like, when have you seen rappers, female rappers? Because I think I've seen male rappers in situations where they had to explain themselves or just whatever. But when have you seen female rappers do that?
Right.
Because I don't remember Foxy ever doing it. Right. Kim did it, because Kim was before Foxy also.
And I think it's kind of strange because you're just an artist. So you're just making music. You can't help who gravitates towards your music. So you then have to explain why a 12-year-old likes your music. I don't know why. I didn't force her to listen to it. Like, I'm not her parent. So why am I explaining why she likes me?
Right. And the thing is, you know, on the show, Kim was like, well, she probably likes the way it sounds and that I'm a female doing my thing. And that could be a lot of what it is. Because if you see something physically that you like, and then you just like their energy. You don't have necessarily like the lyrics, but you can like the energy of the song.
Confidence.
You know what I'm saying? And that's a lot what it is. Like, Kim was like 17 when she came out with her first album. 17, 18 years old. And No Time was actually shot in the World Trade Center. That escalator scene. She talked about that. But it was, she was super young. So that's a lot on a freaking 17, 18-year-old in the industry being chastised for being herself and being open and being a strong, powerful black woman, because black women didn't do that. And it's so weird when we see women who are in their 30s tripping about shit that doesn't even fucking matter. Not winning awards. I mean, you look at Little Kim's career, she didn't win a whole bunch of awards. But Kim was nominated or not nominated. She brought that attention to female rappers, which made it easier for people like Cardi to get her Grammy and Mickey to get her BET Awards. It makes it a lot easier. So let's go back also. So when Kim came out, I'm sorry, who do you think are the ones that inspired her? When you listen to her music and see her, who are the people that made her the product of them?
Honestly, I think most, if not all, of the female MCs who came out before her. Roxanne Shante, MC Light, Salt and Pepper, a lot of girls. And I think it shows in how they even interacted with her and received her, even back then, before the internet, before, you know, people did things to look good on TV. You know, people were real and people really fucked with her back then. You know what I'm saying? So, and even now. So I just feel like it was just one of those where I'm new. I'm not trying to replace you. I'm not trying to diminish anything that you did. I'm just doing me. It's my space. You're in your space. I'm not trying to take anything from you. I respect you. And I think she paid all those ladies, you know, homage or whatever the word is. And she gave them their flowers while they was here. And so,
you know, and when I look at Kim, because Kim wasn't the first female rapper to talk about sex and all that. We have Salt and Pepper that was like, let's talk about sex, baby. Like, Salt and Pepper was out before, and I think Kim just seen the sexiness of Salt and Pepper, and she wanted to get it up, because the male rappers had females all in their videos naked, being objects. So Kim was like, bitch, I'm gonna take that and I'm gonna objectify y'all, but I'm gonna be strong in my sexuality and how I want to dress and everything.
Like, we're gonna talk about sex for real. Like, let me tell you how I want to be pleased. You know,
eating my pussy while I watch cartoons. Like, so like, she was that girl. So Kim, what also was really special about her was she was able to hang with the men lyrically. Mm-hmm. So, because a lot of times when you get artists who are very sexy and everything is on the look of them, they don't have the talent to back it up. Kim had the talent and she had a whole different look to back it up. So for her to get on All About the Benjamins with Styles P and, you know, the whole bad, like, and you to shine, her verse shines more than Biggie's verse. Like, literally after her verse, they cut the song off.
And they did a beat change.
And they did a beat verse. You know what I'm saying? So, like, Kim was that girl, and it sucks that people don't realize that. They don't realize that Kim was literally that girl. Who they think Nicki is now, Kim was that girl in a society that was not accepting her. This is why this is called the crucifixion of Little Kim, because she literally had to be crucified, scrutinized, and everything
Right.
for
somebody else to live.
For somebody else to live and to strive. And for people to not realize that it's just a travesty. And I have to think about who raised you, animals. How do you not recognize that? I think when I was growing up, and like I wasn't alive Janet Jackson's whole career, but when I grew up and I was conscious and listening to music, I knew I loved her. I went back and bought her older CDs. Yeah. I watched her older videos.
You're a different type of fan, though.
And
music listener.
You know, I actually listen to the music.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And the generation now, they don't go do any research on anything.
No, and then it's a lot of it is following trends. Somebody else likes a song, so you like it. Do you really like it?
Do you really like it? I can't stand that shit. So it's just strange that they don't ever do research. Like when Missy came out with Katy Perry at the Super Bowl.
Right. Thought she was a new artist.
And people are like, oh my God, this new artist is about to blow up. I'm like, are y'all serious right now? That's Missy Misdemeanor Elliott, the highest selling female rapper of... right, of the... what was it? Dialogue? Digital? Not digital. Damn. I can't think of the word. If y'all can think of the word, I think. But analog. I'm sorry, analog. Analog. I think it's analog. It might be. The era when we were selling CDs.
Before digital.
Yes,
yeah,
that. Yeah. There we go. We're there. I was struggling a little bit. Yeah. But, yeah, so they don't do their research, and that's another thing that sucks. That's why I say, if you don't do your research, or if you didn't buy CDs, then you can't speak on Kim's career.
And research means going to look for information, not expecting the information to find you.
Exactly. Just look for it. So we moved to Kim's second album, Notorious K.I.M., which I talked about. My favorite song, something I did. And this is after Biggie. So a lot of people felt like, you know, Biggie was writing all of her stuff. He was making her. She was just a puppet. That's what they felt like. So she had to prove herself. So Notorious K.I.M., I told you that's when I fell in love with her.
Right.
So what are your thoughts on that? After Big,
I thought it was a good follow-up album, and to your point, it was a good follow-up album to show people that this man may have contributed however he contributed, because none of us know, because we weren't there. But what do y'all got to say now, if you've listened to that album?
She said, my nigga gone now. Now who writing my rhymes? No disrespect. Y'all niggas owe me publishing checks. She said this on her second album. And it's so funny because, like, she did... That second album was really the blueprint, or some people say the pink print. It was the blueprint for the pink print.
I'm about to say, get the slogan right.
So, like... That album, she was singing. She had Grace Jones on it. She had these samples that y'all need to research.
She don't work with just anybody.
Y'all, you need to look up Grace Jones.
Little things like that.
Talking about Gaga, you need to look up Grace Jones. So she did a lot of things that rappers wouldn't have done.
Right. Sounds,
collaboration, samples,
skits,
all of that. So she came out with a super hit. No matter what people say. And I think it's probably the super gay hit, How Many Licks? Or gay and female.
No matter what they say, yeah. That song was the song I was telling you about that I recorded and wrote down.
And you was rapping the words.
Memorize. Yeah. That song, yeah.
Yeah, like she literally proved herself.
That was it.
The album cover, her covering her chest.
The video.
She had the little Kim across
tattoo,
her stomach.
Yeah.
Low ride jeans, blonde hair, like Kim was really, really coming with it.
Pink background.
And I feel like How Many Licks is one of the greatest videos of all time. The Barbie, when she was the Barbie and they was putting her together. Yes, the Barbie. Did you hear Barbie? Y'all heard that? Right. The original black Barbie dressed in what? Okay. Y'all like
Oh my god.
I think that's one of the greatest videos of all
That's why
time.
I'm like, for the fan base to be called bars, I'm just like, wow, that's so
I mean,
ironic.
at this point, Little Kim's a grandmother.
It's so ironic. Like,
she's a grandmother. She
whatever.
has kids that have kids.
Okay.
So, so in between Notorious K.I.M. and La Bella Mafia, we had a lot going on. The Foxy and Kim beef really took off. The shootout happened. You can't,
niggas in jail.
Y'all not standing a real bitch because a real bitch don't even fight.
That's beef.
It was bullets and shit going on. Like, y'all bitches are standing behind security. Like, nah, my fave was been in the shootouts. So that happened, and then so when La Bella Mafia came out, you know, at this point Junior Mafia had switched sides. They snitched on her. They broke the code of the streets. So Junior Mafia was gone. The whole Foxy thing took off. So now we have La Bella Mafia. She don't even have her crew no more.
That hurt me. Oh my god. When that whole thing went down and she was going to jail, and then she was going to jail because she was trying to protect people who then, you know, did what they did. It was just like, damn, like,
it's fucked up. And these are people that you grew up with, and you know what I'm saying? And a lot of them, you was taking care of them with the money because you was the only one selling records.
Right.
Out the crew.
Like, you looked at them like your little brothers, and you was trying to protect them, which is why you lied. And, you know, the thing is, of course I don't think they did it on purpose, but the thing is, you did what you did, and baby girl had to go to jail. So
a year and a day, 3 years probation, public humiliation.
And that's another notch on this lady's belt. Like, that speaks to her character. How many girls you know would take that?
For the whole crew.
For everybody.
They don't get it. So
they don't make them like that anymore.
La Bella Mafia, we have Lighters Up, which is like classic.
Yeah, the Brooklyn anthem.
Classic song. We also have Magic Stick. 50 Cent had came out. He was popping. Him and Kim got on Magic Stick. All the way to number 2 on the charts. And guess what? They didn't even have a video. They didn't even have a live performance. They didn't, because at the time, they were beefing. They were beefing when their songs were charting.
Ain't that something? Like, we did a song together, but I don't like you.
Yeah. And we never got the video, which sucks because that song could have went to number 1. Easily went to number 1. But back then, you know, number 1s and stuff weren't a big deal because there was so much competition. Like, people were selling 200, 300,000 records a week, every week. That was not just a first week sales. So if you got number 1, great. If you didn't, great. Because I don't, when I'm thinking back, I think TLC's like Crazy Sexy Cool didn't debut number 1. I feel like it was 2 or 3. So, and that album ended up selling Diamond. Everybody don't sell Diamond. So, you know, back then it wasn't a big deal. And Kim was on all the red carpets. She was at the Met Gala and everything. And striving in a mainstream world being the super sexual female rapper that she was. Yep. So La Bella Mafia, another platinum album. That's 3 platinum albums. Hardcore 1 double platinum. I'm sorry. What? Yeah, after La Bella Mafia was Moulin Rouge. I think that was Moulin Rouge after that. Yeah, I think so. If it wasn't, sorry, I'm not looking up stuff right now. But Moulin Rouge came out. No, I think that was before. Oh no, it was before. It was before because she got a lyric saying she got a Grammy. Right. Grammy, Little Kim got a Grammy. Everybody can't say that. So yeah, Moulin Rouge was before La Bella Mafia. Huge. Pink was huge. Pink she had the Misunderstood was out or coming out. Christina was going into her stripped era. Little Kim was right before La Bella Mafia. And then Maya was after her big debut too. No, this was after Fear of Flying for Maya.
You know you better with
than me. This was after Fear of Flying. So number 1 multiple weeks. Kim joins. Kim was the first female rapper with a number one? No. No, I can't even think of that right now. I'm trying to think who the fuck was before Kim. Lauryn Hill. We're gonna have to do some research on that. But Kim was number one for multiple weeks with that. Ended up winning a Grammy, which is rare, because every female rapper don't have a Grammy, and it's very rare that they even get nominated. So Kim got a Grammy. We talked about that. Now let's go to the Naked Truth, which is now Kim's going to jail. She's going to jail. If you don't know, she was on Atlantic Records, which is the same record label that Missy's on, same record label that Cardi's on, and Lizzo. So they're pretty good with female rappers. They completely dropped the ball. I'm not sure of the conversations they had, but it's kind of like they did no promo for this album. If you go back and you look at Whoa video, my niggas, my bitches, whoa, whoa. If you go back and look at that, even the Lighters Up video, they look kind of cheap. Lighters Up can slide because it was kind of a gritty video in the hood, but Whoa was kind of cheap. Super cheap. Really cheap.
Did they have the budget back then, or did they figure she was about to go to jail? So
I think that's what Atlantic did. Atlantic was like, she's going to jail, which is weird because Tupac went to jail and sold millions of records.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So they just dropped the ball, and she had really cheap videos. The album got 5 mics at the source, which was a thing back then. Right. Niggas was beefing over 5 mics. Like Eminem was beefing with Benzino over 5 mics. Like, yo. So Kim was the first female to get it. You know what I'm saying? That was literally after that, it kind of, all of that source and stuff fell out. But Kim made history in hip hop for that. And if you have not heard Naked Truth, which I know a lot of you haven't, go listen to Naked Truth. Naked Truth is definitely one of the top female rap albums of all time. It is definitely underrated. It does not get its just due. She was beefing with Foxy still. She was beefing with 50 Cent still on this album. Junior Mafia, that dyke ass.
Was this the Star Jones song?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Star Jones. Like, she has so much, and she addressed it all in her music. Bitch. She addressed that shit all her music. Go listen to the Naked Truth. Bomb ass album. So Kim gets a year and a day, 3 years probation. Kim gets out of jail. So if you don't know this, I'm going to educate you on something. You know, music artists have a short career span. It's very few artists that can last as long as they have. If you look, a lot of artists, they usually hit really hard for a short period of time, and then some artists hit medium for a long period of time. An example of that is, let's talk about Madonna and Michael Jackson, two of the biggest artists of the 80s and 90s. If you look at Michael Jackson's career, he has Thriller, the highest selling album of all time. And he had Bad, he had Dangerous, he had Off the Wall. Those were like, and he had History Part 1 and 2. And Jam. Yes. I'm remembering all the albums. So he had all those albums, and he was hitting hard, like nothing less than 8 million. Definitely after Thriller. And then after that, like Invincible and all that, he kind of fell off. So he lasted really hard for 2 decades. Look at Madonna. Madonna, did she come in the late 70s or early 80s?
80s.
Early 80s. Madonna came out in the early 80s, and Madonna wasn't always the biggest seller out of her competition, but she consistently sold lots of records. She consistently had number ones and all this stuff. And Madonna was still selling records till about maybe 2 or 3 albums ago. She was still doing pretty well because, remember, she did the Super Bowl super late in her career, and she was still selling records, and she still is one of the highest grossing tour artists of all time. So I brought all that up to talk about female rap careers. Female rap careers are even shorter. Super short. It's like something always happens. You know, think about how long Queen Latifah was making music, like rap music, before she started going into Hollywood. She wasn't making rap music that long. MC Light, same thing. The tide changed. That's when the style changed and everything. So when you look at Kim was pretty much active from like 94, 95 to 2005 was Naked Truth. My memory serves me correctly. And, you know, she was kind of falling off then. And a lot of that is the fault of the label, because the label didn't promote her like they were. So when she got back, she had to kind of get her career back. And Missy was pretty much kind of falling off too when it comes to mainstream success. So we didn't look. The rap girls were Gwen Stefani, Nelly Furtado, and who was the other person? And Fergie. Those were the rap girls during those 2000s. Those were your rap girls. And you're. I remember seeing a article in Vibe magazine where they had like 3 bodies that were like breakdancing, and they put the heads of Fergie, Gwen Stefani, and Nelly on them. And the article was just talking about how we don't have any black rap girls, and these are the kind of rap girls. So it's weird. So Kim had a couple mixtapes. She had the GOAT mixtape, which is mad dope. She took a lot of beats from older female rap songs and paid tribute. Kim paid tribute to people that she was peers with and people that were before her. See, guys, how easy that is on a whole mixtape. So that happened. I think she did a couple little random ass features, but Kim was pretty much not in the same position she was. She did make an appearance on The Game, the series that was on UPN and BET. She just did little things like that, but it was about a different industry, because around this time we started getting iTunes and selling music digitally. So CDs were kind of starting to lose in sales. So nothing super big or mainstream happened until the beef with Nicki Minaj. Now, if you don't know, Kim and Nicki do have a song together called Riding Something. It's on Birdman's album. I'm going to look it up really quick. But they do have a song together, and both of them did good on it. Nicki even shouts out Kim on the record, which is quite hilarious. But yeah, it's an okay song. It was put out, and Kim says it was put out to kind of look like Kim approves of Nicki. And, you know, they have a picture together. They never really had beef. But I believe that all stems from the record labels like Baby and everything trying to boost up Nicki's head.
It's probably from the men they were around, making competition between the two of them.
Oh, yeah. The song is called Grinding, Making Money. It's off of Birdman's album with Lil' Kim and Nicki Minaj. Yeah, because... Kim's beefs usually don't never start from jealousy, because Kim has been that girl. And you know what I'm saying?
Who is she jealous of?
Exactly. Who would Kim be jealous of?
When you're just being yourself, who are you jealous of? Because there's nobody like you, so who are you jealous of? Who are you trying to be like?
What they should learn, but they ain't learned that. So that whole beef just started, and then the shot started. But the thing is, Nicki had been kind of throwing shots at Kim on her previous mixtapes before she got big.
Yes.
You know, so Kim wasn't saying nothing.
She pulled the Carrie Hilson.
Carrie Hilson.
Let me name drop a lady who is big in these streets, and let me try to make a name for myself, because I'm new. Let me come for the top girl. Kim, I'm coming for the crown. Like, what?
Yeah, and this is something she actually said. So the next big thing was Lil' Kim released a mixtape called Black Friday. I remember because it came out on Black Friday, and she had it where you can order it from, can't remember the site, but you can order PayPal. I think it was a PayPal site.
Her,
yeah, there was a site. PayPal was a site where you could like sell stuff. So she was actually selling her mixtape on PayPal. She said she had sold 1 million in a week, and people were trying to clown her. But I'm like, y'all, it's kind of the whole world. Like, she's selling, so it could have been 1 million for the whole world.
Where we're at now, and what people are doing to get number ones and sell records.
Yeah, like, which is so weird. I'm gonna
show my titties so I can be number one. Like, come on now.
Doja Cat said that. So yeah, she she was selling her mixtape. I bought it. I actually did buy the mixtape. I sure did. I was mad because I didn't get the autograph copy, but I did. I did buy the mixtape. I enjoyed the mixtape. I thought lyrically, she was hungry. Like she was coming for her. Did you have you seen the Black Friday video? And
Yeah, I believe I have. Yeah.
so yeah, because I was gonna play it. I enjoyed. I thought Black Friday was fire. It was fire, and I love the whole mixtape. And the whole mixtape wasn't going towards her, but it had some fire shit on it. So then she just did a couple mixtapes, and then she did Dancing with the Stars, which she should have won. Kim should have won Dancing with the Stars.
Yet another thing she doesn't get credit for. Like, she was actually awesome.
She was season. She was the one of the best. She was the best on, and she got eliminated way too early. But she was the last black person to get eliminated. So we know what happens then. So, and then it was just kind of quiet, and then Nikki was definitely striving, and the reason Nikki's kind of brought up is because they were not. That's when they stopped giving Kim her flowers. Some people, I think a lot of Nikki's fans started to act like Kim never existed. And it's like, you see Nikki in the squat pose. That was something that Kim makes famous. Nikki wearing the colorful hair. Weren't no black girl wearing colorful hair until Kim did it. And Kim did it, so Chanel hair. Yes. Chanel hair. You know what I'm saying? A Fendi bodysuit. Like, and y'all don't recognize that Kim was the one that bridged music and fashion.
High fashion.
High fashion.
High fashion.
So
you have to make that distinction because
we're not talking about Kmart leggings.
High fashion.
Period. High.
Yeah.
So she bridged that gap. So now we have all these female rappers rapping about sex freely without being chastised. Rapping about
Chanel bags.
Chanel and all kind of designer and all this stuff.
Vanna this.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Nobody was doing that before Kim. And it's just like, y'all can't forget that.
Right.
And it's so strange that for so long people were really downing Kim and doubting Kim and calling her a hater and saying she's jealous. And then when Cardi B comes out and has more success than the girl that was out, now all of a sudden Miss Mickey looking like how Kim was allegedly looking.
Right.
So it's just like the tables turn. And it's fucking you up because now Kim is cool with Cardi. And neither one of them like you.
But Kim is cool with everybody, it seemed like. You know what I'm saying? Like, even the little spoof she had with Eve, they cool now. Now her and Foxy probably never be cool. But she don't have beef like that. You know what I'm saying? When you're unproblematic, that's just how it is. Like, most people fuck with you.
And that's what it is. And even when Kim was dropping the music, going at Nicki didn't even really give us nothing. And I'm so confused because she always talks about how she's a writer, she's really a rapper, she's the best, she's the greatest. But she
probably thought by then that success-wise or career-wise, I've surpassed you, so then that's my response. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure that's how
I'm sorry.
Because for some people, that is how Nicki wins, I guess, the battle, is because she's more commercially successful, and I'm doing air quotes for those who can't see, than Little Kim. What does that mean?
But now Cardi's more commercially successful.
So what we saying? So now are we going to come up with new rules why Cardi's success doesn't mean more than Nicki's because Nicki blah 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 blah? Like, no, we're not doing that.
We're not doing that.
No.
So, and this is what I wanted this podcast to be about. Like, it's just weird. I want Kim to get her flowers because if Kim didn't stand there and have to go on talk shows and always defend herself in interviews and all that, we wouldn't be having the Nickies, the Megan Thee Stallions, the Iggy Azaleas, the Cardi B's. We wouldn't be having these girls that can come out here half naked and rap about sex and money and
my pussy and all that
labels. You know what I'm saying? We wouldn't have that.
Girls should be able to get theirs too.
Because I don't know if there's a woman that would have came out if Kim didn't come out, that would have been able to stand 10 toes down and say, this is who I am.
Right.
I mean, the other girl.
But also, too, I think Little Kim not only did all that, but she still kept that street hood cred with it. You know what I'm saying? Even though people, might have, she fucked with Hollywood people, she never became Hollywood. You know
Exactly.
What I'm saying? She still was just a regular around the way girl. You know what I'm saying? So everybody could still associate with her, even though she was talking about labels. I can't afford that shit, but I'm rocking with her when she's talking about it because it's making me feeling like it. You know what I'm saying? No, I don't.
Get you a booster.
I don't promote fake shit. You can't
I mean,
afford
it can be
wear
real, but they might just steal it.
No,
off the back of the truck. And then the last thing I want to kind of touch on is her plastic surgery. It's always, they always go towards her plastic surgery about something, saying she didn't want to be black and this, that, and the third, and blah blah blah. What are your thoughts?
I've heard the stories of the ex-boyfriend who, broke her nose, and that's what started it. And maybe she had body dysmorphia where despite how she actually looked, she saw something different. I don't know what her story is, and I don't want to judge somebody for making decisions that, maybe at the time or maybe even still, makes them feel good about themselves. I don't know what she went through. I will say that I thought she was a beautiful girl. The only thing that, if you're going to fix anything from back in the day, her teeth weren't perfect, but that's not really anything. But other than that, she was a beautiful girl. And I wish she wouldn't have, but, it is what it is. But I don't think that should be part of the argument with her and Nikki.
That shouldn't be a part when
how she looks shouldn't have anything to do with what this lady did.
Nikki got a cement, but that shit don't even move. So you want to talk about body? Kim could still get a nice beat and be done.
You got to throw your back to twerk
and be done. But yeah, she, Kim went through abuse, and I do feel like there was, low self-esteem there.
Right.
Think about it. She was dating Big. Big did not marry her, but married a lighter-skinned woman with blonde hair. We started
but was still fucking her.
You know what I'm saying? Still have her on the side. And what did Kim start? Kim started wearing blonde hair. Kim started appearing lighter sometimes.
Right.
So I do feel like that self-esteem might have been an issue. Even Charlie Baltimore was light-skinned. That was another girl Big was messing with. So, I do feel like that was a part of it, along with the abuse. And I feel like, that definitely shouldn't be brought up in the argument because, okay, so if a nigga gain weight, if the rapper ain't sexy no more, are we going to say, oh, well, he fat now, so blah, blah.
Right.
It just doesn't make any sense. And Little Kim, to me, will be the greatest female rapper of all time. Because one thing about Kim is when she did a rock record or a pop record, she brought the hip hop to that genre.
Right.
She didn't go over there and sound just like the pop artist. You know what I'm saying? Even when she did R&B, she brought the hip hop to that R&B record. Ray J, Wait a Minute with Little Kim. Fire. So she always...
Mary J. Blige.
Right.
Fire.
She always made sure to rep the hip hop. You know what I'm saying? And then again, she went toe-to-toe with men. She went toe-to-toe with Biggie. Listen to Biggie, Another with Little Kim.
Oh my God.
Fire.
Yes. I love that song.
They cussed each other out on the song.
You a nasty motherfucker.
Right. Cussed each other out. That needs to go in the fucking African American Museum of the greatest songs of all time.
I wonder if they talk about that in her hip-hop class that they got.
Oh yeah, we didn't mention that. So Little Kim actually had a college course dedicated to her. I even ordered the book offline. I have the book. I have the text. I have the syllabus. I have it all. Little Kim had a college course on her. If I could have took the class, I would have passed it. 100. Perfect score. A+. The fuck? Queen bitch, the fuck?
What? And she going, what? Stay that bitch.
Stay that bitch.
That's what she said. That's what she told
y'all. And then Kim, Kim had a reality show, which did really well also. She was averaging a million viewers, and it ended up winning some television award for best reality show. So,
You're talking about the yacht?
Yeah.
Yeah. I ain't
Girl,
that.
Girls Cruise. I watched it. It was pretty good. They just need, we strive on drama in reality TV.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a lot of drama. But it was a lot of good girl fun and all that. Y'all wanted a positive show.
See, that's more
positive show.
Yeah, give me giggles and everybody having fun. Like, I don't need people fighting and shit. Like,
yeah.
That's
thing
again, I guess.
9 came out. I enjoyed 9. I enjoyed 9 more than I liked it before. I liked it before, but it was just like, I'm not a big fan of the sing rapping. We don't know what's going on. 9 is supposed to get a re-release. Don't know if that's happening. She said Tory Lanez is executive producing her next album. That sounds like a bunch of sing rapping.
And auto-tune.
But we don't know. But you know what? Kim doesn't need to release any more music. But I do want Kim to do a joint album with Missy. I think Kim and Missy joint album will be fire. I do want Kim and Cardi B to collab on a Cardi B song, and I want them to use Nas' "Hate Me Now" beat, and I needed to have Little Kim on it, and I need the beat to change halfway through, and Kim to spit a fire ass verse. It's gonna be lit. I need them to go back and forth. I need it.
Why that song? Why
Hate Me Now?
Hate Me Now, yeah.
Because literally, Kim be trending and don't nothing. She don't be doing nothing. She be home with her daughter. And they be talking about her.
Both of them are two people that people enjoy hating.
They enjoy hating. Yeah. I was on Kim's live and people were literally logging in to say Nicki Queen of Rap. They're like doing shit like that. Like
weird behavior.
You're
talking to somebody you don't like live to then comment. That's strange.
I do not follow anybody I don't like. I probably block them or mute their words.
I'm not checking for what you're doing if I don't fuck with you.
I don't fuck with you.
Not fuck with you, but to follow you. Oh, this person's going live. I don't like them. I'm gonna comment. Oh, blah 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 is my fave on your live.
Like that shit. That shit is dumb.
Come on now.
But I would like Kim to give us one more hardcore rap album with older features like DMX or Styles P or Jadakiss or somebody like Snoop. I don't want no new features. And I want Kim to transition into like a TV show or something. I wish she was on Fashion Police. Like, give us transition into something else because musically her career is just never going to get back to where it was because that's just how the cycle of life goes. She could possibly get a huge feature that will give her a charting, but she's never going to sell those records like she did before. And it's good to transition. MC Lyte is doing voiceovers for the BET Awards every year. She transitioned. She transitioned. Queen Latifah is a Oscar-nominated actress. Queen Latifah is that bitch. Executive producing hits and all of that. Like, Queen Latifah is the definition of transitioning.
Right.
Eve had her own show. Now, Eve is on The Talk. She's a co-host on The Talk. Eve might be an Emmy winner after this award show because they are nominated. Like, Eve completely transitioned.
And it's so unfortunate because they're so talented and what they're doing now doesn't diminish their talent, but it's just interesting that when you get a certain age and specifically when you're a female, you have to find other ways to brand yourself.
Yeah, because even though a lot of the females might have sold, if they sold records, them selling records was like going platinum or gold. Like MC Lyte might have 1 or 2 gold records. Queen Latifah might have 1 or 2. Actually, I don't know if MC Lyte has any. Maybe 1. But they didn't sell a lot of records compared to the men. And that's still the same way now. It's slightly changed with looking at what Cardi was able to do with her first album, but it's still the same. But I just wish Kim best of luck. I want her to continue to strive, and I want her to know that she is an icon. So if you're listening and Kim, tell Kim I love her. She's an icon. Listen to my podcast and subscribe and share it to her fans. Thank you.
Same.
But I'm about to sign out. Make sure you guys check me out on YouTube. Eugene Smilez. Eugene Smilez on everything. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Thanks to my co-host for joining me today to talk about the one and only legendary Queen Bee.
No problem. I enjoy myself.
You enjoy yourself. So we are going to sign out. I will see you guys next time. I'm out.